Why, hello! My name is Sadia, and welcome to my channel. Today, I'm going over 6 things you can do to help feminize your voice from male to female. It's pretty straightforward. Be aware this is not something that will happen overnight. It's something you're gonna have to put some time and effort into. But if you practice this, I promise you, you will notice major difference. Things are breathing exercises, speech enunciation exercises, singing exercises, larynx control, diaphragm control, and resonance. We'll be going over these in somewhat detail. Maybe in the future we'll make videos specializing on one topic or another if people request more detail or information. But today we're just gonna go over like a generalization of what all these mean, their broader definitions, and how to incorporate them into voice training. So the first thing that you can do is breathing exercises. Now, the reason why this is important is because when you start speaking with a more feminine tone, you'll notice your inflection changes, you will speak at a different pace, you'll use uptalk in different places, you'll have vocal fry in different places. And when you're not used to doing this, it's really easy to run out of breath. So one thing that's very important when you're first learning is to do breathing exercises. What we're doing here is just trying to expand the lungs and stretch them out. We're honestly just taking in a big deep breath. And what we want is for that chest to expand. That's how we know our lungs are expanding. That's where we want the air to go, not in our stomach, right? That's not where we want it to go, into our chest. Our chest is what we want to expand. We're gonna hold that for about 10 seconds, and then we're gonna slowly exhale. Do that over and over, not too much, maybe like 3 to 4 times a day, right? In one sitting, preferably. Number 2, speech enunciation exercise. This is more focusing on articulation and pronunciation. So if you look at more masculine speech compared to more feminine speech, you'll notice masculine speech can be a little bit more slurred, you know, the jaw doesn't really open up very wide, blah, 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 a bunch of these little things. More feminine speech, you have consonants that are pronounced more articulately, like T's are pronounced a little bit harder instead of like that soft N or soft D sound, right? So practicing tongue twisters like Peter Piper picked a pack of pickled peppers is a good one. She sells seashells by the seashore is a good one. And what you're doing here as well is you want to make sure you open up your mouth when you speak, okay? It's very important. Me personally, I had a bit of an issue with this. I used to slur my speech all the time. I didn't really open my mouth or move my jaw very much. And so I kind of got like, you know, like speech like this and stuff. Doesn't sound very good. Stretch those jaw muscles, open up your mouth while you speak, enunciate those hard consonants like your T's, D's, N's, B's, P's, stuff like that, right? And it'll make a noticeable difference in how your speech is perceived by others. Number 3, singing exercises. Singing exercises might have some of you scared, but don't worry. The purpose of this isn't to become like America's, you know, next top singer or whatever. I don't watch those shows. I don't know what they're called. The point of it is to just kind of stretch your vocal range, right? So you'll notice your vocal cords will lengthen and shorten based on how high or how low you go. And the ability for it to do that is kind of determined by, you know, how much you stretch it. Let's say if you do yoga, you're not going to be able to do the splits from day 1, but the more you stretch through your muscles, right, the more flexibility you will have. This is kind of the same thing. So the number one thing to remember this, and this is kind of where point 4 comes into play, so I'm just kind of fuse them into one, is diaphragm control. You don't want to be singing from your throat, right? You don't want to be doing like head voice or like, you know, like straight from your throat like this. That's not the kind of resonators we want activated, or all that nasally stuff. We want it from the diaphragm. We're speaking with a powerful, commanding voice. That's what we want to have. This is what we want to speak with. It's also what we want to sing with as well. If you're in the shower, if you're in the car, you know, maybe you're out on a walk or whatever, if you're by yourself, sing a little bit. Throw on some of your favorite music to listen to and sing. And try to sing some stuff that's a little bit out of your range, because that's what you want to do. If you want to broaden your range, you don't just play within it. You have to go outside of it. You have to go outside of your range to expand it. So challenge yourself a little bit with this. Play songs, try to sing along to songs that you know are out of your range, but just try to hit those higher or lower notes. It'll really make a big difference. Number 5 is larynx control. This is a piece of number 6, which is resonance, but we'll get into that later. Once you understand this a little bit, resonance will make a little bit more sense. So larynx control, in case you're not familiar, right? Your larynx is this little fella right here, okay? Your little Adam's apple or Eve's apple, depending on what you want to call it. But we're just going to call it the larynx. This little thing, you'll notice, will vibrate as you speak. You can feel it. You can feel it resonate typically when you speak. The higher it is, the higher your voice. The lower it is, the lower your voice is. So what we want to do is elevate the natural resting position. How do we do that? Well, what I want you to do right now is take 2 fingers and place them on your larynx. The next thing I want you to do is swallow. And you'll notice that when you swallow, your larynx will rise. We want to be able to train those muscles in here to hold this at an elevated position without stressing out our vocal cords or any muscles in there or anything, right? The trick to doing this, I've found, is place your fingers on your larynx, do that swallowing motion, and really kind of feel what's happening in there, right? Feel what muscles are moving, feel where they're going, feel how high they get, feel how low they go. And you kind of want to just practice like the first half of that swallow when it's at its peak and then hold it. Think of it like planking. When you're planking, you're really working out your core muscles. If you've never done it ever in your life, you're gonna fall down immediately. But the more you do it, the more you practice, the easier it becomes, and it almost becomes second nature to hold that position. It's the same thing with the larynx. So if you can't do it right away, don't worry about it. You're probably not going to be able to. But if you want to practice it for, 5, 10, 15 minutes a day, maybe for the first week, do it every 2 or 3 days, because it can put a little bit of strain in your voice if you don't know what you're doing, and that's not what you want, especially if you talk a lot for your job or you just speak a lot during the day, right? You don't want to put too much strain on this. It's very important to remember there is no time limit on this. You are not forced to do this by a deadline. There's nobody like telling you it has to be done by X amount of time. This is just this is just a part of your journey as anything else, okay? There is no set deadline for your transition. The thing you need to remember is to just go at your own pace. But don't get discouraged if you don't get it right away. You probably won't. That's fine. It's gonna take a while. Me personally, it took me about maybe like 3 to 6 months to get into a point where I felt I was kind of getting it, and probably closer to 8 months to get basically the voice I speak now. If you're curious what I used to sound like, maybe I'll show that in the future. Maybe not right now. I'm a little bit too nervous about it, but if people find this video helpful, then maybe I can show people how big of a difference it makes. I had a hiccup. Number 6. I need 2 hands. Sorry, there you go. Number 6. Resonance. So resonance is something that we need to understand before we can improve upon it. So what is resonance? Picture an opera singer, right? And they're hitting the high notes and they're going, ah, and they're trying to crack the glass, right? The reason why the glass cracks is because the sound waves from the opera singer's voice are resonating with the glass. So when we talk about resonance from our voice, we're talking about the resonators inside. Those main things are the larynx, which is what we talked about earlier, the pharynx, which kind of surrounds the larynx and goes up around here, the oral cavity, which is inside of your mouth, and the nasal cavity, which is like up here, and this is our Squidward voice, right? All of this stuff. So when you speak, right, you can actually test this, kind of just like put your hands on your face, right? And you'll feel different parts of your face will resonate more and more and more depending on where they are. Like when I place my fingers on my nose, I can feel it resonate a lot more. There's a lot more vibration up here, a lot. When I speak in my normal speaking voice, I feel a lot more resonance up here, right above my larynx, and a little bit in the pharynx as well. There's a bunch of singing exercises that you can do, like kind of relax your tongue and place it behind your bottom front teeth and kind of go with a little smile and just go, like a powerful hum, right? You'll notice you feel vibration in your oral cavity, around your cheeks, maybe up here in your cheekbones, down along your jaw and such, and on your lips. Your lips will have like a bit of a tingle. When you start to figure out what resonates when you speak, it kind of helps you understand, like, okay, my voice sounds like this. To change it, what type of resonators do I need to exercise? And it kind of gives you a bit of a roadmap. It's going to be a little bit different from person to person, so it's something I encourage you to kind of just play around with. The number one thing I would say for me that resonates is my larynx right above it and my pharynx up here. That right there, those are the most powerful resonators for my personal speaking voice. It used to be when I started, it was really head voice, super nasally. I came in from up here and I kind of sounded like this all the time, blah, 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 blah. Not good. In a normal speaking voice like this, again, my larynx, my pharynx is vibrating a lot more. But if I try to speak in a more like soft voice, right? Much more calm, much more composed or whatever, I feel a lot more vibrations up here in my cheekbones actually, as opposed to down here. It's very different. So there's different types of voices that you can do. And this applies to singing. This is a big lesson that people do for singing lessons as well, to kind of help you understand what resonance is, what your resonators are, how they function, and how they kind of mesh with each other, to give you different types of tones and octaves and voices that you can do. And that's it. Those are the 6 things you can do to help feminize your voice. If you found this video helpful, let me know. Leave a comment down below, like the video. I can do more of these in the future going forward. Again, if people find it helpful, or if you had more questions, feel free to ask me. I'd be more than happy to answer them in the comments or with another video in the future. But with all that out of the way, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your night or day, wherever you are. And until next time, take care. Bye-bye.